It's not even a day. It's not considered anything.
Hello?
You can't work that day. It's just a day.
It's just a day. Hey, Harley.
You guys are so close.
Well. Look who decided to wake up from their nap.
Look at what the cat dragged in.
I'm exhausted.
Oh,
okay, my cat
And
broke our blinds.
Why are we exhausted, Harley? Why aren't you getting sleep?
Blinds? My cat broke my curtains too.
Uh-huh.
Hi, Hunter.
What was that? I did not like the way she looked
What'd you
off to
say?
the side like that. That scared me.
Oh.
Tell Hunter to come join our podcast.
Yeah. I got a funny story. He didn't even have to talk much. Most of it's just me talking.
Come join the podcast.
Also, I need his phone number.
It'd be really great if you did. It would
He
make us.
won't.
It would make us really happy if you did. Can you tell him that?
They said it would make them really happy if you did.
It would make me say that I like him.
He said he's not going to. He said hi, though.
Well,
Tell him what I said.
You
Fuck
can
you.
get into camera and wave. We're not recording.
Tell him what I said.
hello, Hunter. Fine, don't join us.
He said, fine, don't join us.
I feel like you don't deserve that Lord of the Rings tattoo.
You
if
have to
don't
do
join
what?
us.
He has to go study.
No, he doesn't. Get out of here.
He said cinematography.
He's just gonna go watch a movie.
Get out.
Tell him to go study my. Go study.
He's
film.
actually going to watch a movie right now.
I know.
Go tell him to follow my Letterboxd account.
Oh, Tim says follow his Letterboxd account because Tim likes movies.
Ever since he told me about it, I downloaded it and I've yet to use it.
Bro.
Did you hear that?
Yeah. Come on, man. Get your
He
shit
said,
together.
come on, man. Get your shit together.
Nobody wants your excuses. We want results.
I just watch whatever's recommended.
Okay, well, get
I
it
can recommend
together.
things. Yeah. Like you come.
We're about to recommend some stuff.
I'm telling you.
Okay,
Part of the
bye.
podcast.
Love you. Bye. Thank you.
How you spell amateur?
This is the Always More podcast.
Hello, and welcome to the Always More podcast, where we believe there is always more room at the table for honest questions, meaningful conversations, and deeper understanding. It is August 23rd, and today on the pod, we are talking about Milkmen, Fleetwood Mac, the Beatles, amateur Olympians, and so much more. But first, I am your host, Timothy Lichty, and sitting next to me is my best friend in the whole entire world, Christopher Thomas Ford.
Ni hao.
And joining us from the great interwebs across the Great Plains and the state where I think the population is 3, it is Harley Bianco.
Yes,
Hello.
it's me, Hunter, and that's it.
You and Hunter and your boss.
And Hunter's mom.
And my boss.
Oh, okay. 4 people.
Oh, yeah. That's it.
Hey, everyone. How are we doing today?
I am so tired. Just as
Dude,
always.
yeah.
I had every intention of drinking this delicious Red Bull, who is not sponsoring us yet, but maybe they will be. Red Bull, it gives you wings. And I was going to drink it throughout the episode, but I had to pound it before we even started. So
Yeah. It's so tasty.
Oh.
I'm
Yeah, I
hoping
was
it
napping.
kicks in while we're recording.
You were napping. We moved our schedule just for you, and then we texted you,
No,
and you're
Because what
napping.
was crazy is I ate ramen, right? And so then that obviously put me in a food coma. And I was like, I'll just lay down for a little while because I don't think we're starting till 8:30.
Did you set an alarm?
I was wrong.
Yeah, we
No,
were
I
ready
told
at like 7:30.
We said 7:30.
I thought we said 8:30.
Check your
And
text
that's where.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Check your
And I
text
told Hunter
before you wreck
to
your
wake me up
text.
at 8.
How'd that
So
work out?
that's where we are. We're here.
We are here. We're here. We're okay. We're all right here. We're okay. We have an episode. It's gonna be a fun one, guys.
I think so.
It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a fun history one, and I love history. Harley,
Yes.
you like history?
I love
I
history.
would really hope so.
Yeah, you kind of majored in it.
You spent 4 years on it, right?
I
I
got
did
this.
start to hate it, but
Harley
you know,
gets diploma. Ah, fuck. I don't like this.
that's how it felt for a while.
Oh, no,
'cause
thank you.
At that point, it was just like, I just want my degree. I
Oh,
just
that's a good
want to
point.
be done.
I get it.
But now I'm like, oh, I still love it again. No, it's coming back.
Okay, well, that's good. All right, guys, let's move along. Let's get this show on the road. It is time to start our first segment, and that is Wreck and Rev. This is the part of the show where we like to recommend and review some things. I'm starting this thing off with a show out on Apple TV called Foundation. Have you heard of this show?
It's on my list. As are
Hunter's
like
besties told me to watch
many
it.
other things.
It is. I've been trying to watch like good sci-fi. Like I generally don't go for a sci-fi TV just because it's usually low quality, but it's Apple TVs and they kind of like it's their.
Yeah.
It's like what other? I guess Amazon, and to an extent, they kind of do better quality. But anyways, Foundation. It's based on the award-winning novels by Isaac Asimov. This story chronicles a band of exiles on their monumental journey to save humanity and rebuild civilization amid the fall of the Galactic Empire. It's set like, I don't know, 15, 20,000 years in the future.
Don't like that. Too far.
Um,
That's too far in the future.
Well, they do a really good job of kind of interblending a little bit of science fiction, but also like, this could be a reality. Like how they travel is through wormholes. Like it's kind of like Interstellar. Like there's an advanced civilization that has discovered how to travel through wormholes, and they've done the same thing. And so they have some drawbacks to that, though. It's like they have to travel a certain way and whatever. So
but like 15,000 years into the future, like 1,000?
15,000.
I feel like at that point we have either completely caused our own extinction, or we found a way to basically just become energy.
Well,
and
it's funny.
Not physical people anymore.
It's funny that you say that because in this show, it follows multiple people and plot lines throughout time. And it spans like a few hundred years in the first couple of seasons. But when a mathematician discovers through proto-history that the Galactic Empire will collapse, and along with human civilization within a few thousand years, he and his followers are sent to the outer reaches to collect wisdom and knowledge. However, a young woman who also has the capabilities of forecasting the fall ends up being more vital to the end of the empire. So it's very much maybe we've gotten too big. Maybe we have advanced too far. Now, here's one other kicker with this, which I really kind of thought was neat, and I wish I would have read the books. But the empire, it has a guy who's been... he's been the emperor for about 300 years, sort of. He basically clones himself, and there's 3 versions of him that exist all in one time. So you have what's called dawn, day, and dusk. And so at any one point, there's 3 of them alive. And so one of them, the day, in the middle one, is kind of like the main emperor, like the guy who sits on the main part of the throne. But you have Dusk, who is kind of like the older guy. And you have Dawn, who is like the young kid that they raised to kind of become the new emperor. And so they kind of just filter out. So at a certain age, when Dusk gets old, they kind of just kill him. And then they give birth to a brand new emperor who they raised to become the new one. And just kind of keeps cycling like that and he's been like doing that for like 500 years.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Right?
I like that.
But it's the same person?
Yeah, same clone, same guy.
Clone of the same guy, yeah.
Yeah.
That's freaky.
Yeah, so one guy decided, like, you know what? Instead of me, like, marrying off and having a lineage, like, I'm just going to clone myself, and I'll just be emperor forever. Like, it's not the same knowledge that's passed down, like the same memories or anything like that. But
it's just his DNA.
Yeah, it's very fascinating.
I guess that puts to bed the nature versus nurture conversation.
It gets into that. They play, and that's really cool about the show. They play a lot into just simple human psychology and
psychological stuff.
Yeah, it's really interesting. They really they dive into mathematics. They dive into proto history, and it's really fascinating to think about.
Okay, it's on my list, like I said, so I'm down to check it out.
Yeah, it's a good show if you want to if you like sci-fi, but you just like good sci-fi. It's kind of like that.
Yeah, I don't care for sci-fi, so hopefully this will be interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Chris, you're next. What you got?
Mine is also kind of sci-fi. So it is based on a video game that I absolutely loved as a kid. This show is on Peacock, actually. Peacock, I did not think would have, like, the best shows out there, but it's got some pretty good stuff. I just binged Halo, like all of Halo yesterday. It was pretty cool. But this one is called Twisted Metal.
Ah, yes. Anthony Mackie, right?
Yeah. So this one is based on the car shooter game that came out like in the late 90s, Twisted Metal, same name, where basically you just pick a car. It has guns and missiles and all kinds of weapons on it, and you try to survive a giant fight. It's got a lot more of a storyline to the show, though. Yeah. I mean, the games are basically like just get in a car, blow stuff up. That's it. But the show follows a motor-mouthed amnesiac milkman named John Doe, who is offered a chance at a better life, but only if he can successfully deliver a mysterious package across a post-apocalyptic wasteland. Facing religious zealots, overboard cops, and a schizophrenic serial killer clown, things get pretty crazy on the streets of the good old New USA.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's pretty cool. Anthony Mackie's the main guy. John Doe is a milkman, not an actual, like, 1950s milkman. That's just what his job is called. Basically, you take stuff from one walled-off city to another
Oh, okay.
after the apocalypse happened. So, like, new San Francisco and new New York and new old Chicago, and it's just, like, all kinds of stuff like that. Actually, Harley, Topeka, Kansas is in the show. Like, it's a big plot point. It's a big plot point.
How interesting.
So you might see somebody.
How random.
There's like 2 people there.
See someone I know. Right.
But
Is that John?
no, it's a pretty cool show. I thought it was just going to be like really cheesy, but you know, it's a little cheesy, but it's pretty cool. Stars Anthony Mackie, like you said, Stephanie Beatrice, however you say her name. Will Arnett is in it.
Oh.
So, well, his voice is in it anyway. It's a pretty cool show. If you play the games at all, it's kind of fun because like there's little Easter eggs of like, oh, I remember that car from the first game, or I remember that plot point from the third game, or I remember this guy's name, like that kind of stuff. It's just really fun.
Oh, cool. I feel like I briefly knew about this game.
Yeah, I never got into it.
Like there's something in the back of my noggin that's like ringing a bell.
I think it probably came out when you were like an infant.
Yeah, but I imagine like my brothers played it.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Because it came out on PlayStation 1, and I think it kept producing new games until the PS3.
I think one of my besties, her family was a like a PlayStation family, and I feel like they're the ones that had it.
Probably.
Now that makes more sense. That makes a lot
it's
more
not
sense.
a game that everybody loved, but it's a game that everybody had.
Right. Just chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah, not me.
It would have been really cool to play online, like back in the olden days.
Back.
Pure chaos. Literally. That's so bad.
That's what the
actually.
game's about.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Harley, what do you have for us?
I have Daisy Jones and the Six, which is on Amazon Prime.
Dope.
It's based on a book, which is, I think, loosely based on Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, yes. I remember seeing an ad about this.
Yeah. It's super good. But basically it says, set in the Los Angeles music scene of the late 1970s, the series charts the rise and fall of the fictional titular rock band through a documentary-style series of interviews with the members and footage of concerts and recording sessions.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And there's like a nice little twist at the end. So good. But it has Sam Claflin, which I'm sure we all know him. Everybody knows him. He's in the Hunger Games. He's in Love, Rosie. He's in Me Before You. You don't know who Sam Claflin is?
Nope. Look, I'm not a big celebrity guy. I don't really care too much about celebrities. Like I went to Comic-Con
As you just named all of these other celebrities?
Yeah, because it's on a list I have.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know his face. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Finnick.
Yeah.
That guy.
Finnick O'Dare.
Enola Holmes.
Yes, Finnick.
I know his
he's
character.
Sherlock.
I don't know who.
Did you just say he's Sherlock?
Not Sherlock and Enola Holmes.
I'm sorry.
Henry Cavill is
Henry
Sherlock.
Cavill, yeah.
Oh, he's the brother, isn't he?
He's
He's the brother.
Whose brother?
He's the other brother.
Mycroft?
No, he's not Mycroft.
He's not Mycroft.
No, Mycroft's not his.
Oh, he is Mycroft. You're right.
Is he?
Yeah, sure is. Oh, I forgot about that.
I knew it.
Yeah.
I confused Mycroft's name with what's his villain?
Moriarty.
Thank you. I confused them. But yes, he's Minecraft.
Okay, yeah, I get it. Oh, he was in Pirates. I forgot about.
If you ever have any questions about Sherlock Holmes, I'm your guy.
He was in Peaky Blinders. Where was he in Peaky Blinders?
Yeah, I have no idea. And then there's also Riley Keough, I think is how you pronounce her last name. Granddaughter of Elvis Presley.
Oh.
Yeah, very cool.
Hot.
Yeah, and Suki Waterhouse, she is in like tons of stuff. She's dating Robert Pattinson right now, I think.
Okay.
If that's relevant to anybody.
Not to me.
I know who he is.
But yeah, it's actually really good. So there's that. If you're into like, it's not like historical fiction per se, because
is it folky?
But I guess, yeah, it's folky. It's like rock folky.
Fleetwood Mac, yeah.
Yeah. There was a movie
rock.
I watched a few years back called Inside. Is it Llewyn Davis? And it's a fictional movie, but it's kind of about the folk scene in like the 70s and 80s and everything. So I might check that out then.
Oh, yeah. So
Yeah.
pretty good. 12
Bare
out of 10.
Trees by Fleetwood Mac is one of my favorite albums.
It's a good one.
Have
I
it
like
on vinyl.
Rumors.
Rumors is also really, really good. I think I have both of those on vinyl. I know I have Bare Trees. I think I have Rumors too.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I want them on vinyl.
Check them
Yeah.
out. Find them
I
in a record
literally
store.
cannot get my. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on.
All
I
right,
can't get
moving
anything
right
to work
along.
right now.
All right, guys, moving along, we have, I guess I'm introducing it for myself. It is called Tim's, well, actually.
That worked out quite nicely.
Thanks. All right, despite their renown and depth, the Beatles were only a band for about 10 years. Did you know this?
Are you serious?
Technically speaking, yeah.
Now, here's
I
something.
didn't know that.
Here's something even more wild. Their recording discography is only 7 years between their first and their last album. Like, they were a band and they had music, but like their first albums are only like their first and last albums is only 7 years apart.
Wow.
Isn't that
It's
wild?
weird to think of because, like, you think of the Beatles and you're like, oh, yeah, the 60s, which
They
obviously
spanned,
started
like,
in
decades.
62.
Yeah.
And their last album came out in, like, 79, right?
No, 70,
No.
right? Or is it 69?
69.
Isn't
Yeah,
that
that's
crazy?
weird.
Yeah.
Okay, here it is. And here's another way to look at this. The first and last photographs of the lineup were taken 7 years apart to the day, August 22nd, 1962, and August 22nd, 1969. So,
Dude, that's tomorrow. Not
Yeah.
the years, of course, but August 22nd. When we're recording this, sorry, guys.
Beatles Day.
yeah.
Beatles Day.
Every image you've seen of John, Paul, George, and Ringo together were taken within that precise 7-year period.
Dude, what?
Kind of.
Like them together.
Yeah, kind of. The first half, anyway.
What do you mean? Were they all together after that?
Paul McCartney died.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, all of them together.
No, I mean, like, while they were the Beatles, Paul McCartney died and they replaced him with a lookalike.
Oh, you're funny.
You're serious?
No.
Yes. There's a whole documentary. I think it's on Netflix. You need to check that out. Paul is dead.
As Ann Lim waited, as someone on Reddit pointed out, 7 years is about 2,560 days. They wrote and performed more than 250 songs in that period, meaning they come up with a new song every 10 days or so.
Roughly speaking, yes.
Isn't that crazy? 10 songs
Dude, John and Paul were like some of the most talented
or a song every 10 days.
music writers
Absolutely.
of all times.
Did you guys watch the documentary that came out a few years ago?
Paul is
No.
dead? Yes.
No, Chris, stop. What was it called? The one that
The Beatles.
no. What was it? It was like a big one. It was a really long, like 3 or 4 parter, but like it was all document footage. Like they didn't like no narrator or anything like that.
Oh,
it was,
I feel like I know what you're
it
talking
was
about.
on Disney
Yeah.
Plus. It was on Disney Plus. Oh man, it upsets me that I can't
don't
think of it.
know.
Anyways, but yeah, it's kind of funny to think about because it's like they had such a pivotal, movement in music, and like they changed so much about it and like the scene, and like it was all within 7 years. Like and like you had like what someone said on Reddit, like you had their first half, which is like the flop hair era. And then you had the acid years. It's just like it's pretty split up down the middle there.
And you can tell, like, by listening to a song, which one was written in which era.
Oh, Yellow Submarine? Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
So
Wow, that is wild. Hey, they're literally One Direction.
But better. Yeah.
I don't know. One Direction's pretty good.
They wouldn't exist if it weren't for the Beatles.
it's
Although I did really enjoy the Beatles interviews when they were younger. They were doing an interview somewhere, and people kept asking them dumb questions. They're like, "Do you see your father often?" And George just goes, "No, we're just good friends, actually."
That's funny.
What a lot of people said you wanted to write Norwegian Wood about lesbians and marijuana. Is that true? No, we really just wanted to write music about lesbians and marijuana. So it's like, what do you call your haircut? Arthur.
Arthur.
Oh man! All right, well, guys. On that note, we have an incredible segment coming up next about unknown history, guys. You don't want to miss it. Stick around. We'll be right back. Thank you all for listening to our podcast. Be sure to subscribe and leave a rating on your favorite podcast platform and YouTube. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at AlwaysMorePod.
If you'd like to ask us a question for us to answer on the pod, you can email us at alwaysmorepodcast@gmail.com, or you can call us on our Always More hotline and leave a voicemail question at 254-218-4042.
You can also follow all of our social medias individually and as the Always More podcast. Thanks for listening. Let's get back to it.
All right, everybody. Welcome back, guys. We have some history to talk about today. And guys, look. We decided to go a little bit tiny different route. So this is either going to go one of two ways. I have with us today 3 different stories because they're a little bit shorter than the normal stories that we usually tell around here. However, the first one that I have actually is kind of like not super short, so it actually might take up a little bit of time. So we're either going to do 1, 2, or 3 of these stories today, and all depends on how like energetic and crazy this goes. So
I'm down for it.
You're down for it? Harley, are you down for it?
Hell yeah, brother.
What was that?
Sorry. Like Kansas in me.
The year is 1904.
No, Tim, it's 2023.
The year was 1904.
Now I'm tracking.
It was the inauguration of the modern Olympics, and a dual celebration coupled with the World Fair in St. Louis to celebrate the 100-year anniversary of the Louisiana Purchase.
There's so much going on in that sentence.
You're not reading ahead, guys, right? You're not reading ahead?
No.
Please don't.
You told me not to,
I
so.
need y'all to not read ahead here. You need to be in with the audience on this. Harley, I know you're biting your nails because it's so exciting. Don't read it alongside. You just
let
soak
Tim
it
tell
in.
us
But I
the story.
have to.
No, you got to let Tim tell the story.
All right.
Shinkies.
So this big event was happening. It's the World Fair, which they do every year, I think, and they decided to bring back the modern Olympics, which, again, if you don't know, the Olympics were based off the Greek games that they did, thousands of years in the past. But the modern Olympics that we have today started back up in 1904, so it wasn't like until then that we started like doing these other races and things, which, by the way, I don't know if you knew this, but tug-of-war was in the first one, if I'm not mistaken. The modern
Wow, why did we get rid of that?
I don't know, right?
Because we got tired of seeing America get trounced in tug-of-war.
I don't know, actually.
The
marathon, which was the main competition of the Olympics, was designed to pay homage to Greece's classical past and emphasize the interconnectedness of the ancient and modern worlds. But from the outset, the 1904 marathon was more of a sideshow than a showpiece. It was a bizarre spectacle that appeared to fit the fair carnival vibe rather than the solemn tone of the competition. The result was so outrageous that the event almost never happened again. Are you guys ready? Can you just give me a wild guess? What do you think happened in this race?
Oh, I think I know this story, actually.
Don't ruin it.
Yeah, I'm not going to ruin it,
Okay.
but I'm pretty sure I know this one.
Harley, what do you think? Like, what do you think might have made it happen where they wouldn't do it again?
Someone died.
Oh, that actually might have made it even better.
Close, though.
Close, though. All right, let's talk about the contestants first, okay? This is really going to set the tone of this little story of ours here. So a small number of participants were renowned marathoners who had either won or finished in the top 3 in the Boston Marathon or had been in the top 3 at the previous Olympic marathons. But the rest of the field was made up of middle-distance athletes and other, quote, oddities. The favorites included seasoned marathon runners Sam Meller, A.L. Newton, John Lorden, Michael Spring, and Thomas Hicks from the United States of America. Another American, Fred Loers, qualified for the Olympics by placing in a, quote, special 5-mile race organized by the Amateur Athletic Union. Fred Loers trained only at night because he worked as a bricklayer during the day. The top oddities included 2, how do you pronounce this word? Swana men from South Africa who were in St. Louis as part of the South African World Fair exhibit and who had arrived at the starting line barefoot. 10 Greeks who had never run a marathon, and a former mailman from Cuba named Felix Carbajal, who raised money to come to the United States by showcasing his running prowess throughout Cuba, once trekking the length of the island. After arriving in New Orleans, he was forced to walk and take a hitchhiker to St. Louis after losing all of his money in a dice game. At the starting line, dressed in a long black pair of slacks, a hat, and some street shoes, he presented a modest but stunning 5 feet tall figure. A sympathetic Olympian went in search of some scissors and hacked Carvajal's pants off at the knee. So that's our cast for today.
Yeah, this is definitely the story that I know, and it is wild.
This man's going to win. I know he is.
It is wild.
All right, guys, let's start. The pistol was fired on August 30th at precisely 3:03 p.m., and the men took off. The 24.85-mile track ran through roads inches.
24 miles?
Yeah, that's a marathon.
24.85. It was then. Now it's like 26.2.
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you know the history of marathon?
Nope.
So, if I'm not mistaken, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Internet. Marathon is based off of when the Persians and the Greeks were at war. I think it was the first time. And a runner was sent to the front lines to warn the army that the Persians were coming at the place of marathon.
I think I do know this.
And so
It was 26.2 miles away from the front lines. He ran all the way to Marathon, told his story, and then died.
Yes, I did know that.
Yep.
Just kidding.
So the 24.85-mile track ran through roads inches deep in dust and was described, which, by the way, I don't know if you know this, but running in dust is not favorable for running long distance.
It's not favorable for breathing, Tim.
No. And was described as, quote, the most difficult a human being was ever asked to run over by a fair official. The temperature and humidity reached 90 degrees. 7 hills ranged in height from 100 to 300 feet, some of which had an excruciating steep ascents. Cracked stone was thrown across the pavement in numerous places, providing treacherous footing, and the men had to continuously dodge cross-town traffic, delivery vans, railroad trains, trolley cars, and dog walkers.
Are you joking?
No, they were basically like, hey, we're going to start here and you're going to finish there.
Yeah.
Go.
Figure out a way.
Yeah.
I can't get over the fact that they just decided, is this hard enough? Nah, let's throw some gravel out there. Let's just throw some stones.
Let's make them trip.
Get the trolleys going.
You will really trip them up? Some dog walkers. We got some dog walkers in this town?
Who has a dog?
Who's got poodles? Bring them out.
Only 2 locations provided competitors with access to fresh water. A roadside well at 12 miles and a water tower at the 6 miles, which, again, remember, it's a 24-mile race. The principal organizer of the games, James Sullivan, intended to reduce fluid consumption in order to explore the effects and limitations of deliberate dehydration, a popular study at the time. I mean, what a way to do it.
We're going to take these professionals that are used to drinking and running and just make them run. No water.
No drink.
Excuse me, half professionals?
Semi-professionals, yeah.
So they had water basically early on and then the halfway point, and then they said,
Yeah, good luck.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
Oh, but don't worry, Harley. They're gonna
ask
be
one of
taken
those
care
dog
of.
walkers.
If you make it to the end, we'll take care of you.
That is insane.
Get on a trolley, steal someone's water bottle.
As long as you're still running.
All right, here we go. Where did I end up here? Okay, yeah. The principal organizer. Okay, I said that. Alongside the runners, coaches and doctors' cars sped by as coughing fits and kicking up dust were heard. So they got a pit crew that followed them.
In cars.
In cars. All right, so let's talk about the race itself. From the start, Fred Lors was in front of the 32 competitors, but after 1 mile, Thomas Hicks gained ground. William Garcia of California nearly became the first Olympic marathon death when he fell on the side of the road and was hospitalized with hemorrhage. The dust had covered his esophagus and ruptured the lining of his stomach.
That sucks.
Are you kidding me?
No.
This man fell, basically swallowed dust.
Yeah.
And his body reacted so negatively that he almost died.
Yeah. He may have died of bleeding if left unattended for 1 more hour, doctor said.
But they found him, so he's fine.
Yeah, because they were driving a car.
They're just lucky they didn't hit
Is that
him.
one of us? Is that one of ours?
Is Fred okay?
Oh shit, that's one of ours.
Tom, is William okay over there? Where am I at? So after experiencing some nausea, John Lorden gave up. One of the South African competitors, Lin Tao, was chased off the track by wild dogs over a mile.
Feels racist.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Shit.
100%.
That's horrible.
Felix Carvajal made good time while trotting in his heavy shoes and floppy clothing, pausing sometimes to engage onlookers and halting conversations in broken English.
Oh,
You just stopped to talk
Nice.
to people.
Just talk to talk.
go Felix. I'm rooting for him.
At some point, he approached a car, noticed the people inside were eating peaches, and requested for one.
No. No.
When he was rejected, he seized two with delight and ate them as he fled. He stopped at an orchard a little further down the road and snacked on some apples, which turned out to be rotten. So he collapsed and slept it off due to the upset stomach that it caused.
Oh, Felix.
This is such a show.
Oh.
This story gets wild, Harley. Just hold on.
Sam Meller, who is now in the lead, also felt terrible cramps. He ultimately came to a stop after slowing to a walk. Lortz, who was also experiencing cramps at the 9-mile point, made the decision to board one of the supporting vehicles and ride along while waving to onlookers and other runners.
No way.
He just got in the car.
Bye, guys.
This is one way to win a marathon.
All right, here we go. At the 10-mile point, a 2-man support crew took over the care of Hicks, one of the early American favorites. They ignored his request for a sip and instead wiped his lips with warm, distilled water. The first known incident of drug usage in modern Olympic competition occurred when his handlers gave him a syringe.
Wait, how did we get here? How did we get here?
Well, it happened when his handlers gave him a syringe and an egg.
Gave him egg white mixture. So, or not syringe. What is that word?
So this was instead of a sip of water.
Correct.
Strychnine.
Strychnine. And egg white mixture 7 kilometers from the finish line. There were no regulations regarding performance enhancing drugs at the time, and styrene was often used as a stimulant in modern dosages. Additionally, Hicks' squad had a flask of French brandy, but they opted to wait to use it until they had a better idea of the runner's condition.
You should take all these drugs, but don't drink anything until we know how you're going to handle these drugs.
Yeah.
You ever tried
Just
meth?
giving him cocaine.
Got some brandy over here.
Basically what they did.
That is insane.
Yeah, well.
Welcome to the 1904
You're going to
Olympics.
win.
Meanwhile, Lortz got out of the car after an 11-mile drive. His cramps gone.
He was already at 9 miles when this happened,
I think so, yeah.
and then rode 11 more miles.
When one of Hicks' handlers spotted him, he told him to leave the course, but Lortz persisted and completed in just under 3 hours. An American won, the audience chanted as they cheered. After placing a wreath on Lortz's head and lowering the gold medal around his neck, Alice Roosevelt, the 20-year-old daughter of President Theodore Roosevelt, was going to congratulate him when, according to witness, quote, someone called an indignant halt to indignant halt to the proceeding with the charge that Lortz was an imposter. The applause changed to boos. The accolade had never been something Lortz had planned to accept, he said with a smirk, adding that he had only finished as a joke. So it's like he did the whole car thing. It was like, it's just a joke, guys. I wasn't going to take the medal.
It's a little jokey joke.
Yeah, liar. Liar. As he's like, applaud me. Applaud me.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, just kidding. My bad.
With the strychnine running through his body, Hicks had become limp and ashen. He sprung to life when he learned Lortz had been disqualified and compelled his legs into a trot. Another dose of strychnine and egg whites were administered to him by his trainers. This time, brandy was used to soothe his stomach.
Why would that soothe it?
I don't know.
Brandy does actually help.
What? Says who?
Me. I've tried it.
How? What?
I don't understand the science, but it helps. If you got an upset tummy, drink some brandy.
You never. Yeah.
What?
If you have an upset
What is
tummy
brandy?
and brandy, it's liquor.
But it's like its own type of liquor?
Yeah.
It's like a dessert liquor. Yeah.
Oh. It's a dessert liquor?
Sort of, yeah.
So it would make your tummy hurt worse,
No.
Nah.
in theory.
No.
I hate this.
His torso and head were bathed in warm water that they had brought. They bathed him with it, just can't drink it. After the wash, he seemed to come to life and picked up his speed. Quote, over the last 2 miles of the road, noted the race official Charles Lucas, Hicks was running methodically like a well-oiled piece of machinery. He could hardly lift his legs, and his knees were virtually rigid. His eyes were dull and lusterless, and his face and complexion had darkened to a deeper shade of ashen. He started having hallucinations and thought there were still 20 miles to go. He pleaded for food throughout the last mile and then asked to go to sleep. He's so sleepy.
He's eepy.
He was given additional booze but turned down tea. He inhaled 2 additional egg whites, and he made his way up to the first of the 2 final hills before jogging down the slope. He attempted to run as he swung into the stadium, but was instead forced to walk awkwardly. He was lifted by his trainers over the finish line while his feet wavered and was crowned the victor.
Yeah.
Wow.
He got carried over the finish line and won.
It took 4 doctors and 1 hour for Hicks to feel well enough just to leave the grounds. He had lost 8 pounds during the course of the race and declared, quote, never in my life have I run such a touch course. The terrific hills simply tear a man to pieces, end quote. Hicks and Lortz would meet again at the Boston Marathon the following year, which Lortz won without the aid of anything but his legs. The end.
Yeah, sure he did.
My favorite is the dude that, like, ate some apples and then took a nap.
Yeah. And then he's like, oh no, tummy hurt.
Tummy ache.
Go sloop. So eepy, tummy hurt.
The source for this is the Smithsonian Magazine. Quote, the 1904 Olympic Marathon may have been the strangest ever.
Or the worst ever.
Yeah.
I would say
Yes.
the worst.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I think we have time. We're only 17 minutes into this. I went by quicker than I thought it would. You guys ready for story number 2 here?
Yeah.
Yes.
This one's a short one. It's called The Dancing Plague of 1518.
I also know
I've heard
this
of this.
one.
I know this one, I think.
Residents of Strasbourg, which was then a part of the Holy Roman Empire, suddenly felt the need to dance, and it seemed as though they had no control over it. This happened in July 1518, when Frau Trophy entered the street and started to discreetly swirl, shake, and twist. Pandemoniums, thank you, started. After nearly a week of continuing her single dancing marathon, over 30 more Strasbourgers. Bourgeois? Man, these French. Soon joined in. Up to 400 people had perished by August as a result of the dance outbreak. 400, guys.
Dance until you die.
Literally.
Local medical professionals offered, quote, hot blood as the only alternative explanation for the event because they had none else, and advised the ill to gyrate their fever away.
Side note, if I ever start a Screamo band, it's going to be called Hot Blood.
Like, what does that mean?
What do you mean?
What does that mean? What does hot blood mean?
You have to remember, this is 1518.
Yeah, it's like...
This is the time where it's like, sounds like your blood has ghosts in it.
like
you
a
should do
witch,
cocaine about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just can't. I don't get it. No matter how many times I hear all of these insane stories,
I know.
and they're like, oh yeah, this just made sense for the time. And I'm like, it doesn't make sense anytime.
At no point in time would that have made sense.
She's a witch.
Harley, you would have been burned at the stake.
So
Oh,
fast.
3,000%.
So
I'm a
fast.
witch. Genuinely. She
Dance
has opinions.
You got hot blood, dance about it. But why though?
Witch!
Burn it!
She goes first.
Professional dancers were hired and a stage was built. The city even paid for a band to play while the crowd cheered. But it wasn't long before the marathon began to wear on people. Several dancers passed out from weariness. Even heart attacks and strokes claimed the lives of several. The bizarre incident didn't come to a conclusion until September, when the dancers were taken to a Highland temple to make atonement. All right, guys, that's enough. Go to the temple.
Go pray to Jesus. Sorry.
Although the Strasbourg dance disease may sound like the stuff of folklore, historical archives from the 16th century include extensive documentation about it. Additionally, it is not the only instance of its sort that is known to have occurred. Similar manias have occurred in Switzerland, Germany, and Holland, but few of them were as severe or as fatal as the one that broke out in 1518.
What's crazy is people were probably like in their diaries were like, y'all not gonna believe this.
Dear diary, today I saw something that I still don't understand.
Dear diary.
The next day, it's happening again.
Dear diary, day 28, can't stop dancing.
There to be like a book, like the documentary, but it's like it's a progression. Like day 20, my mother started dancing, and then like day 32, dear diary, my toe started moving.
I fear the dance fever will soon take me. Give my sincerest love to Eveline.
I've been advised to write a will.
And then it's just like the thing from Nacho Libre where he was like, XO, XO.
Big hug, little hug.
Little kiss.
Big kiss, little kiss. Little hug, little kiss.
Tell my children I love them.
As you can imagine, it is difficult to write while dancing.
It's just like scribbles on the next few pages.
Look at the cinema. Think of it.
It's like in Lord of the Rings when it's like they're writing down the events that's happening, and like the orcs are coming in and everything. It's like the orcs are coming, and then it just writes like the last part is a scribble out because my feet are tapping. I can't stop. Scribble.
There's like footprints.
It just like goes down the page.
Starts writing musical notes.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2.
We've discovered the waltz.
Forte.
That is crazy.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Didn't they just say like still nobody knows like what caused?
Yeah, nobody knows what happened.
I feel like there was like some like not really a solution because obviously how would you know? But I think people just kept saying like it was hysteria. Probably, and people would like see others dancing and then be like, oh, this stuff is spreading around really fast. Yeah. It's getting really concerning. And then it takes over there. Yeah. And then they're like, oh, I have to dance.
Yeah.
Like terrifying. Terrifying. I just feel like my brain would convince me like, I'm pretty tired. I'm going to go home now.
Go take a nap.
I would just be sitting off to the side like, that is some white people shit. Y'all can't even dance.
Sit down.
You move on the ones and threes, yo. You clap on the twos and fours, move on the ones and threes. Step, clap, step, clap, step, clap, step, clap. It's not hard.
Chris starts dancing. Everybody's like, oh, it's taking over him too. And he's like, no,
I'm showing you how to do it. Pop, lock, and drop it. And that's how the Soldier Boy was invented.
Wow.
Crank that, Soldier Boy. You crank that Soldier Boy.
It's really funny because we probably could make like a really funny like movie out of this, like a good like what's the movie Knight's Tale like style movie out of this,
like Monty Python at least.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Maybe not a movie, but like this should be a scene.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, we can make it happen.
I think you should put Jack Black in it.
Oh, yeah, hands down.
Any movie I make ever is going to have Jack Black in it.
It's got to. Yeah.
100% Jack Black and Anne Hathaway. Meryl Streep if she'll let me.
Oh.
Stanley Tucci for sure.
Stanley Tucci.
Oh, that's a good one.
The Tooch. I love Stanley Tucci. The Tooch.
All right, guys. We got time for one more story. You guys ready for an Italian story?
Always.
Yes. Bippity boppity zoopity woppity.
Yes. This story is an Italian story that may or may not be slightly exaggerated, but that's the way us Italians liked it. That's the way we like it. Torre Ghirlandi, no, hold on. Ghirlandina is a tower located in Modena, a city located around 25 miles from Bologna. It is the cathedral's main...
Pretty sure that's baloney.
Shut up. A cathedral's main tower, which dates to the 12th century, and it houses a priceless artifact. What is it? It is
Baloney.
It is a...
Sorry.
It is a rusted-out wooden bucket, Harley.
Filled with baloney?
No.
A rusted out wooden bucket?
How does
Rusted out.
it's wood. How does it rust?
Because there's metal lining across it. Thank you very much. That's how they had to keep it intact, like barrels.
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you guys little snarky attitudes
Well,
here.
you said rusted out wood. What do you want from me?
Rusted out wooden bucket.
You know, that was my nickname in high school.
Rusted out wooden bucket?
Yeah.
I haven't heard that name in years.
It's been 84 years.
So as you probably have guessed, this isn't your typical bucket. We must go back to 1325 in order to comprehend this.
Do we have to?
Even though Italy was the most sophisticated country in Europe, violence and conflict were routine. Cities in northern Italy were always at odds with one another. The competition throughout the Renaissance spurred conflict while also advancing the arts and sciences. If you guys really want to get into the history of Renaissance Italy, I'd highly encourage you to play Assassin's Creed 2.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
Shameless shameless promo.
They're not paying us either. Stop giving them free publicity.
But to be fair, people
pretty
have
good.
used their gameplay to rebuild actual cathedrals. Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's true.
The cathedral.
The cathedral. Okay. Cities in northern Italy were also at odds with, already said that, the competition throughout the Renaissance spurred conflict. That was the situation in the conflict between Bologna and Modena, known as the War of the Wooden Bucket. So here's the background.
What?
The War of the Wooden
Are
Bucket.
you serious?
You thought I was joking. The War of the Wooden Bucket. The truth is that the notorious bucket wasn't the only cause of the battle, so a little exaggeration. But due to their shared backing for opposing groups, and I cannot pronounce this, so forgive me, the Ghibellines and the Guelphs, they developed a deep-seated animosity. Italy's northern region was in a unique circumstance. It was a rich neighborhood with a sizable urban population. They also enjoyed the highest percentage of literacy since the Roman era. And because of this, the area became an ambition for aspiring leaders throughout Europe. In fact, the Pope and the Emperor both had great ambition, pretty much like the greatest ambition among them. They were in a continual conflict because they both saw themselves as the leaders of Christendom. So Ghibellines were those that backed the Pope, and the Guelphs were those who supported the Emperor. Chaos was certain because Bologna and Modena were on opposing sides. So let's talk about the bucket. After many years of clashes and unrelenting hostility, a group of Modenese vowed to defeat their enemies in Bologna. They sneaked into the city unnoticed one evening. The only thing they took as a prize was a wooden bucket from a well because they weren't searching for legitimate trouble because they didn't want to die. The apparent trivial bucket was stolen, which annoyed the Bolognans. Of course, it didn't help that Modena displayed the bucket as a symbol of their dominance. So it's basically made a flag out of it.
Got your bucket.
Got your bucket.
Good luck getting water now, losers.
You're going to have to make a whole new bucket.
This is
Suck it,
our bucket.
It's not recorded that they did, but I really wish they would have made a flag about it. Just a flag with a bucket on it and just wave it around.
They would have just had to put the bucket on a stick.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Swinging it.
Let's see here. After all, they were demonstrating their stealthy entry into the hostile area by showboating the bucket. Modena rejected Bologna's demand that the bucket be returned. Return the bucket. And Bologna responded to this insult in the only manner it could, by declaring war. The Bolognese made the decision to march on the rival city, which was being guarded by 7,000 Modenese men, after gathering an army of 32,000 soldiers. These guys mean business about their bucket. The conflict did not last very long.
That's my purse. I don't know you. Oh, my God.
Where am I at? The conflict did not last long. After 2,000 deaths on both sides.
Are you serious?
Over a bucket, bro?
The Bolognese army disintegrated.
Yo, white people are crazy.
Yeah, for real.
Despite having a smaller population, the Modenese managed to drive them back to Bologna by force. A Modenese soldier reportedly took yet another wooden bucket from the well close to one of the city gates once they got there.
Wow.
Take your ass home, and I'm taking this bucket with me.
Today...
They didn't even get their other bucket back.
No, they didn't.
Oh, my God.
The pettiness. Today, almost 700 years later, there is a wooden bucket in the Ghirlandina Tower at Modena. That bucket is, according to the legend, one of the 2 buckets stolen from the city of Bologna.
I wonder what happened to the other bucket.
Somebody shat in it.
Dude, that was my thought.
Somebody was like, you know what? Fuck your bucket.
This is my poop bucket.
This is my poop bucket.
I'm imagining, like, you know, in Pirates of the Caribbean where they're like, where Captain Jack Sparrow, he's like, I got a jar of dirt. I got a jar of dirt. And guess what's inside it?
This bucket is mine. I got it out of the well and I took it back home.
Could you have imagined if, like, when like they were like coming at odds, like when they were coming to fight each other, they would have had a catapult and they just would have like shat in the buckets and just launched it.
Give us our bucket back.
Okay.
All right.
Literal biological warfare.
Bro.
That's horrible.
I got
Or
the
just
bucket. Why? Why? I got this. Why would you do that?
Why would you catch it?
Well, guys, those are our 3. I bet you didn't know these stories. These are our 3 unknown stories of the week. I hope you enjoyed them. A little Italy, a little Olympics, and a little
Strasbourg.
A little Strasbourg. Some dancing.
What was that, Germany?
Yeah,
Germany, right?
Strasbourg sounds German.
Sounds German.
Strasbourg.
Yeah.
Let's look it up real quick.
That or it's like Austrian.
Maybe. Fun fact, Austria is paying people to move there.
So is Ireland.
Yeah, but Ireland, like, you got to pick one of the small islands
Yeah.
off of the mainland. Like, Austria is like, yo, come to our mainland.
Oh, it's
Not right now.
France.
There's a
I mean,
war going on.
A little close to Russia and Ukraine for my taste. I like having an ocean between us.
Yeah.
Strasbourg is French.
That would make sense for the Frau.
Yeah.
The Frau.
Yeah.
I thought Frau was German too.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it's on the eastern border of France with Germany. So
So at that time they really didn't
It's
have
all
a
the
border.
same.
you got some intermingling going on there. You know, you got
Yeah.
some Germans, you got some French, you got some you got a little bit of everyone around there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, but genuinely the what is the word I'm looking for? How tense everything was
The tension.
in northern Italy at that time period for years,
Yeah.
decades.
I know.
It's just, is this really that surprising?
No.
No,
Not
but
at all.
also insane. Yeah, over a bucket.
That's what's so funny about like movies like Monty Python, where it's like this like ridiculous little fighting and bickering between them.
But
It was like
it's kind of like that.
it was kind of like
Yeah.
that, you know, just little bickering back and forth, and you know, I got the high ground, and no, you can't have your bucket back, and just like little stupid stuff like that.
Yeah, because
like
all they had was like swords and stuff.
There's a scene in Monty Python and the Holy Grail where King Arthur goes to some French castle, and he's trying to get that guy to join him in the quest.
Oh, yes.
And he's like, we're on a quest for the Holy Grail. And he's like, I'll ask him, but I don't think he'll be too keen. You see, we've already got one. Which is kind of like a funny, like, throwaway line. But also at the time, France was claiming they had the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
And England was, like, trying to get it from them, but they also didn't really believe that they had it. So they were sending, like, different people to different castles to like, double check. It's crazy.
I don't think you will be too happy.
That's my grail.
I fought in your general direction. Your mother was a hamster, and your father smelt of elderberries.
Great movie. It's a great movie. History is fun sometimes.
It
It
can
is
be.
fun.
It can be.
It's super fun.
Wars
Not
for
all.
buckets.
Not always, though.
Yeah, not all of it. I think when nothing was really organized is when it's the funniest.
Yeah.
Crazy wild stuff.
Yeah, because then it's just
the best
chaos.
when like, the actual army is like off to war somewhere else, and then
Yeah.
like you're just dealing with the people that were left behind to protect that city. Those are the
Yes.
most fun. It's
Because like, what
who's
are
in charge?
farmers gonna do?
I think Stan's in charge.
That's how Liechtenstein.
Stan, what should we do? Let's throw shit at him. Good
You
plan,
got
Stan.
manure.
Good plan, Stan.
Or like how like Liechtenstein went to war and brought back more soldiers than they left with.
Yeah, they brought back one extra guy.
Oh yeah.
He was like, "This sounds pretty cool."
1, 2, 3, 4. Who's this guy?
How many did we send out? 14,000, sir. Excellent. And how many did we bring back? 14,000. Perfect. And one. What?
And who?
What? Like POW? No, sir. He's a soldier. But what? Did we lose anybody? No. Did we miscount? No.
Just got another guy.
So where'd the extra come from? They said his name is Steve. I think he's actually from the enemy lines, but he seemed chill.
Is he pretty cool?
He seemed chill. Steve's chill. Don't worry.
No, it's cool. It's cool, bro.
He brought some food.
It also makes me think of the Crusades, like before the first one really happened, because there was well, I guess it's technically the first one, but it was when like they were calling all of the like soldiers and stuff and like knights and everybody to go. And then all of the farmers were like, oh, and like townsfolk were like, oh no, they're calling on us. They're saying everybody in like the kingdom of like God or whatever should go out and fight.
All of Christendom.
Yeah. And it's like these farmers on pitchforks, slayed, done.
Oh.
Yeah. Just assaulted. And I'm like, oh,
Bro, all
no.
those farmers going up against the Hassassin. They are going to murder you.
And they just let them.
Yeah, they thought
just
it was
let
their
'em.
solemn duty to God and country.
Throw the pawns out.
Literally.
Yeah.
Goofies.
Well, guys, I think on that note, we should wrap this little history lesson up. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got a good laugh, and I hope you learned a little thing or two.
I know I did.
But guys, don't go anywhere. We're going to learn some more things when we talk about some Neanderthal stuff and some fan questions. We'll be right back. All right, everybody, welcome back.
Hey,
What a fun
Yo.
little segment we had there, talking about some history.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I enjoyed
Pretty
the bucket
good.
war.
The bucket war is pretty
Yeah.
nice.
I never heard of that one.
It's a good
I mean,
little-
I didn't heard. Whoa.
Whoa.
I ain't never heard of nothing like that.
Stop. Ah.
Well, I reckon I'd have heard about them little Olympians back in 1904.
What Rusty quit me from
Sorry.
saying was,
Anyways, y'all know what I was trying to say.
What about that Lord's guy? I never heard of him.
y'all ever been to Strasbourg?
Baloney?
Bologna?
Oh, Bologna.
Balone.
Baloney.
Anyways,
Guys, we have some fun stuff. Let's talk about Neanderthal. This is a little segment that we like to play. Basically, it's what would blow the mind of someone or someone's in history.
right?
Today, we're talking about the expeditioners, the white privileged men, Lewis and Clark.
Ah,
What would blow their mind?
Apple Maps.
Yes,
100%. Yeah.
Apple Maps.
What?
I would say Hawaii.
Oh.
Why? Just because it's an island, or?
Yeah, they're like, yeah, we got to the end of America. And then somebody else adds Hawaii, and they're like, bro, really?
Alaska, too,
We
if that's
just
the case.
went as
Oh,
far
yeah.
as we could.
Oh, that's a good
Yeah.
point. Alaska's freaking
Yeah.
huge too.
Uh-huh.
It's basically the size of like the distance they traveled.
And they'd be like, what do you mean we have to keep going?
Just for one state?
It's not even attached to the country. Why does it count?
Yeah, that is weird.
Uh,
I never understood that.
I'll go with Airbnb.
Airbnb. Come stay in my house. Okay, thank you. You're so kind. No, you have to pay me.
For a fee.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. And you have to clean. Hold on now.
Or pay more.
Hold on.
Take
now.
everything off the bed when you're done.
I can't use this. It's in the house.
You have any Wi-Fi?
Trying to think of other stuff.
Roller skates.
I don't think they would have gotten very far with roller skates.
Still would have blown their mind. These shoes have wheels on them.
4-wheel drive. Car. Just car.
Heelys.
Heelys.
You can move.
What else?
Bicycles. Did those exist?
Yeah, they existed.
They existed, yeah. However, strollers.
Strollers?
Yeah, like those off-road strollers that you can, like, if you're
What would
into,
they
like,
need that for?
they had a whole baby on their trip, bro.
Well, yeah, but that's
Sacagawea
for...
had, like, in the
Yeah, that would probably
What you
blow
call it?
her mind.
Yeah.
But I think she
it
would
would have
probably
also
think
blown their mind.
That's right.
yeah.
They want us to have
I think she would have been
strollers.
like, I don't need that.
They would have been
It's
like, "Are you
rocky
kidding me?
terrain.
This
What's
is
the
so
point of
cool."
a stroller? What kind of
An
stroller?
off-road stroller, dude.
What do
I
you-
was just talking
Okay,
about
but just
that.
bigger tires doesn't make it that much better, dude. It's
Bigger
rocky
tires
mountains,
and
like,
suspension.
You got rocks the size of their
And
tires.
suspension.
What kind of stroller are you talking about?
Like the Jeep stroller.
A Jeep-sized stroller? You're
Not
talking about a car?
not
That's
a
called
Jeep-sized
car.
stroller. It's a stroller made by Jeep.
My point
Whoa.
is the size of the stroller is what's important here. Is because if you have a small stroller, like even like the size that you're probably thinking of, it's too rigid. It's too mountainous.
It's better than like nothing though. Over like not the like super mountainous parts, but like the plains and the hills and the
I don't know about
plateaus, whatever.
that. I don't.
You don't know me. I think it would have blown their minds.
But like they had strollers back then.
Google Earth. You mean I can just like sit here and point and click and map everything that way?
Probably like a thermos.
A thermos.
Oh, good.
Thermos would have been good.
Yeah, like a sleeping bag.
Fire strikers. A Coleman 10-person tent.
Though I'd probably argue that Sacagawea had her own natural stuff that would have done the same exact thing.
100%.
Yeah.
But like one that has like the little thing that you can unscrew, and
Oh yeah.
they would have been like, "This is the best." I have a knife like that in my car.
Oh yeah.
Like it inside the handle, you can unscrew it. It's got a compass, like matches,
Oh, yeah.
flint, and obviously it's
Oh.
made out of steel, so you can.
That's cool.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That's pretty neat.
Probably, those like off-roading razors.
There you go.
Have you seen those?
Yeah. I dig
Probably
that.
be like, whoa, we can go pretty fast with one of
He
these.
is zooming across that plane.
Speaking of which, drones.
Good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this the right way? Well, I got to get up higher to do it. Hold on.
I got you.
It looks pretty good.
What's that over there? That's a bear.
Is that a bear? Let's go around.
Probably trains.
Trains.
Well, they had
I
trains
mean-
back. Well, did they have trains?
No, they
hold
didn't.
on.
Not at that time. I don't think so.
I'm almost positive they had trains back then, and
Hold on.
What
maybe
time
not.
period is Lewis and
Oh,
Clark?
yeah, hold on here. We gotta. Yeah.
it's around.
You know what? Probably not actually. Now that I
1705,
think about
I think,
it,
right?
because 1804
not
to
17.
1806.
Oh,
Yeah, they definitely didn't have
17,
trains. You're right.
1805.
See?
Yeah. Hold on. Let's look up trains.
What?
When were
Train.
trains invented?
I think it was like late 1800s.
Train. Train is a series of connected vehicles. Yeah, I know what a train is.
It's for people that want to get started.
Just look up, what's his face? Vanderbilt? Didn't he do the trains? Or who was that? Carnegie? No.
Carnegie. You know how to get to Carnegie Hall, don't you?
Circa 2200 BCE.
trains?
Well, no. Hold on. Don't take this. Don't
wheeled
take this out of
wagons
context.
running on stone wagon ways.
The American
were around
railway
back then.
system.
1825.
Okay. Oh, now.
So
Now, they had a steam locomotive built by a British inventor in 1804. However, it was definitely not in use until much later.
Okay, so we'll just say Amtrak then. Specific trains.
Amtrak.
Yeah. Amtrak would have blown their minds.
Subways.
Subways would definitely blow their mind.
You mean we can
Underground
do
trains.
it underground?
Do we have to map the underground too? Or is it all like connected?
Yeah, I think that's about it. I mean, trains, that's a good one, though, because it's like 20 years displaced from them, and it's like, yeah, what a simple, I mean, you had to trek it out anyways, but like just a simple way to think about it, just like they would have to travel and
the fact that we can map using satellites now, I think would blow their mind. But like specifically the moon.
Oh yeah,
like somebody's up there.
Just like you said, a drone, but like just a robotic drone, just like to be able to go out and just trek the land too.
The Mars rover.
Yeah, Mars rover.
People who survey land.
I walked thousands of miles, and you had
this the whole damn time.
Yeah, if you just would have waited, dude, we'd put it out there for you.
Yeah. Just like give us a couple of decades. I mean, it's fine. But then they wouldn't have been iconic. But then they also wouldn't have been, white men who used a native indigenous woman.
And a black slave.
True.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I need to refresh.
Yeah, you got to revisit that.
Yeah.
Lewis and Clark's slave that I think passed down to Lewis's son or Clark's son, one of their kids. Yeah, he was promised his freedom, and then when he got back, they were like, nah.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
God dang it.
Yep. All right. I think that's a good place to end Neanderthal. Let's move along to some fan questions. This is where we like to answer your questions. Guys, please make sure you comment, you send out us messages, you drop those DMs, you do whatever you possibly can to let us know your questions because we like to answer them. And we also have our Always More hotline where you can leave us a voicemail and where we will not answer you at 254-218-4042. Chris, where is that again?
254-218-4042.
And our loyal listener, Shane, has asked us 2 more questions, and so we shall answer them.
Actually, Shane asked us a bunch of questions, but we picked 2 of them.
We picked 2 of Shane's.
I think we should give Shane a gift.
I think so. We need to make a hat or something, a shirt, a really cool, trendy shirt.
Come up with a design.
Yeah. Speaking of, if any of you guys out there want to get a little something for us, we'll definitely pay you dividends for it, and
we might pay you dividends. So what we'll do is we'll send you a free one of whatever you design us.
Yeah, there you go. As payment.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. She asked, what's your favorite type of shoe?
Wingtips. All day.
Who?
Wingtips.
I love a good dress shoe.
You don't know what a wingtip is?
I don't know what a wingtip is.
Cole Haan makes probably the best dress shoes I've ever worn in my life. And they had a really, really comfortable wingtip that was basically like a sneaker, like a tennis shoe feel on the inside, but a dress shoe look on the outside.
Yeah.
Oh.
And amazing.
That's quite
phenomenal.
dapper.
Best shoe I've ever owned. I had it in burgundy, black, and tan.
Wow.
I love
fancy.
them. But wingtips are my favorite shoes. However, I don't like wingtip boots. If I'm going to wear like a dress boot or something like that, it's got to be a cap toe. I can't do a wingtip.
I get that. Pumas.
Rock on.
Pumas are literally my least favorite shoe.
Oh.
I have had 3 pairs of Pumas that just did not work for my feet. I can't even try Pumas on anymore.
Jeez, man. Okay. Sorry you didn't like your Pumas. Pumas are my favorite. I've always kind of liked them. I got into them when I first started getting into soccer, and some of my favorite soccer players played in Pumas, and so
I like the look of them. I wish they felt good. I just don't like the way they feel on my foot.
You just need to find the right one for you, I think.
Maybe. But I tried 3, and all 3 of them sucked.
That being said, I got my first pair of Converse like a year ago, and I really dig those.
Oh.
I've been on the Chuck Taylor train for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
And yeah, Pumas. And I like a good pair of Chelsea boots. I
Mm.
haven't worn them in a long time, but I like a good pair.
Pulling them off.
How about you, Harley?
I feel like Harley's a strappy sandal girl.
I'm not a strappy sandal girl. I am a Vans girl
Yeah.
Yeah.
through and through.
Yeah.
I need to get some new pairs, actually. I have holes in the toes and they're just falling apart. I'm also a Converse girl. Those two. 2,000%.
Yeah.
I would die for them.
So one of my
Favorite
favorite things in the world when I worked at Men's Warehouse is all of the brides that would come in and they'd be like, oh, I'm not one of those normal brides. I'm a unique individual. We're doing Converse. We're doing Converse for the bridal party. I'm like, ma'am, aside from heels, Converse are the number 2 shoe. You're not as unique as you think. We literally sell them for the bride party.
But I saw them on
at
Pinterest.
Men's Warehouse.
I'm so dead.
Like, it's like, oh, you're doing Converse. Did you want one of these or one of these or one of these? We can also put the grooms in one of these. Like at Men's Warehouse in the formal section, we had tuxedo Converse. They were like patent leather Converse specifically for those types of women.
That is wild.
It would always, like, you could see the defeat in her face.
It's not as niche as you think.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if they were cool, if they were like, oh, we're just doing Converse, I'm like, oh, cool, that's a great idea. But if they're like,
Right.
oh, I'm not like other girls, I'm like, you are exactly like other girls.
You are other girls.
I like to show you this magazine of everyone else who's done these here.
Yeah. It's like one page high heels, one page Converse. Next page high heels, next page Converse. It's literally just like that. That's my
That is so
favorite
gross.
thing. My favorite thing to bring them down on.
Ah.
Only if they were mean, though. Again,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
they
yeah.
were nice, it was like, oh, yeah, cool. Do it. Do
Mm.
you.
You do you. If you like it, you like
If
it.
it fits
You know,
you,
yeah.
do it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just don't
Yeah.
think you're the first person to ever suggest that.
I just hate that look. It's so bad.
The big puffy white wedding dress and a white pair of Converse.
But
We get it.
we get what you're trying
I
to do.
can understand
bright
it
red
if it's
Converse.
for your, like, I mean, I get it, to each their own. But I respect it more if you're doing that for your reception because you're just trying to party. You're just trying to go hard. You know what I mean?
I was
Just
not doing this in heels. We are
Literally.
shotgunning and
Yes.
slut running.
Yeah, whatever. Like, I'm all for that. In fact, that is totally what I would do. But like if you're doing like a ceremony, maybe at least like a nice flat, like a nice ballet flat or like nice sandals.
Look, man, I
You know what I mean?
truly didn't care. But if you're a dick, I'm going to point out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to point it out that you are not special.
Yeah. Because then at that point, they're trying to be like a pick me
Yeah.
and trying to like shame other
Exactly.
girls. Yeah.
Oh,
And that's not cool.
We're not doing heels. We're doing Converse. Red or teal now.
Oh.
What do you mean? Were you going to do the red or were you going to do the teal? The teal. Yeah, I know. I know.
I know.
All right, one last question for Shane. They asked, what's your favorite theory as to why NASA pivoted from ocean exploration to space? No, it is not because they're scared of things in the ocean, Chris.
That's 100% why.
2 words, Cold War.
No, that's 100% why.
Cold War.
I
Capitalism.
don't have a theory.
I'm gonna give you guys an out. It actually is not true. It didn't happen at all. NASA was founded in 1958 when Sputnik was launched. Google it. Sputnik 1 went up into space, and that's when NASA was established.
Google it.
They never searched the ocean before searching space. However, they were assisting with the NASA of the ocean. I forget what it's called. It's like the NAD something.
I can't tell if you're telling true history or you're just trying to
No, I'm
really mess me
I
up.
told
July
you, Google
29th, 1958.
Boom.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, they never
Signed
did
the
it.
National Aeronautics and Space Act, establishing the National Aeronautics and Space Administration.
NASA.
Now,
However, I do love that conspiracy theory that it was a group of people studying the ocean, and then they were like, nope. We need to go to space, and then they founded NASA. But yeah,
Yeah, it's definitely because of the Cold War and capitalism.
I would like to point out just how not cool America is for just a quick second here, or has been in the past. It's not been all, America and patriotism and the American way.
Depends on your point of view. I know exactly what you're about to talk about. It depends on your point of view on whether or not they were cool.
I would like to talk about Operation Paperclip.
I'm pretty sure that was pretty cool for the Nazis.
Oh, absolutely, for them. Harley, are you aware of this?
I'm not aware of this.
Oh, totally real thing. They show this in the movie, or in the show Hunters. It's like these Jewish hunters, yeah, they are Jewish
Nazi hunters.
Yeah, there you go. But it was a secret United States intelligence program in which more than 1,600 German scientists, engineers, and technicians were taken from their former Nazi Germany to the U.S. for government employment after the end of World War II in Europe. Now, to be fair,
they brought over a bunch of the research that they unethically gained while studying human experimentation.
Not all of them were Nazis or like straight up bad people. However, a very good percentage of them were. And
they were Nazi scientists.
Yeah, Nazi scientists.
They were like, a lot of them were the people that were like, hey, you either come work for us or we kill you. And they're like, yeah, I don't want to die, so obviously I'm going to do that. But there were also some that were like, yeah, Hitler had some good points.
Yeah. You could read about it. There's huge things about it. The Onsberg list.
Ausenberg.
Ausen? Oh, you're right. Ausenberg. It's just wild. Like, it's so many people. Like, I'm going to see if I can get some people here. Oh, yeah, they brought a lot to Huntsville, Alabama. I knew about
Werner
that.
von Braun.
Which, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, he was one of them. Hermann Oberth. There's a lot of them. Yeah, basically any German scientist in the 60s were Nazis. Not all, but a good majority.
I don't remember if Einstein got here like before.
Yeah.
He wasn't part of Paperclip.
He was definitely not.
He would have been, though. He would have been one that was part of Paperclip if he had stayed in Germany.
Yes. Well, if he had not have been, taken, because he was Jewish.
Yeah. They would have forced him to either be a scientist or die.
Right. Yeah. No, he was very much a, what do you call it? What do you call it?
Pacifist.
Thank you. That's the word. Pacifist. Yeah.
Rock on.
Guys. By the way, guys, we're going to have a whole story about Einstein. I recently did some reading about Einstein because of the whole Oppenheimer thing, and his story.
It's crazy.
My God.
Yeah.
It is so crazy. He is not a good human being. No. He is so freaking smart, but he is not a good human being.
Unfortunately, that's how a lot of geniuses are.
Don't ruin that for me.
Like, the more intelligent you are, the less you care about human life.
Towards his latter part of life, he was okay, but like him,
it's like Sheldon Cooper. But
worse.
So much worse.
He was so much more aware, and like he was just I'm going to spoil it, but just if you want to look it up, you can. Just a human piece of trash to his wife and to other people around him, and it's just wild.
Like Dr. Halsey from Halo.
Misogynistic, just
whoa,
crazy stuff.
Not a role model.
That's so annoying.
I'm sorry to ruin that for you, Harley, because I know you had that lion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have the line anymore, so I guess it's
Probably
for the best. The trash took itself out,
Oh. There you go.
All right, guys. On that note, let's talk about some final thoughts. Guys, what do we got for today?
History is wild, man. Like,
history
is
is
so
wild.
funny.
You could tell me a
That's
story.
why I love it.
You could probably tell me a story about anything, and part of me would be like, that sounds plausible.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because history is criminally insane.
Like, if you told me one king slapped another king in the face with a trout, I'd be like, yep, that sounds like how the trout wars started.
Wait a second. Hold on. If I'm not mistaken here.
Your move, holy man.
Hold on. Yeah, there's cod wars. I knew about that one.
See, there you go.
Cod wars?
I almost brought that one in.
There you go. See? Not surprised.
Yeah. Guys, I got so many like small history ones. We'll have to do another one of these where it's like a shorter stories, because there's a bunch of them. Some good ones. Harley, you got anything for us?
I love history. The stuff like this just reinforces that, because like a lot of people think like, oh, history is just stupid, boring, blah, 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 blah. But like, really, it's like funny stuff. Like,
Yeah.
just people just being dumb.
Yeah.
If I ever become a history
Dumb.
teacher, I will like have to like bring in some of these random stories as
Fun
like
Fact Fridays.
It could be like even like just stupid fun like extra credit homework. Like, hey guys, if you want extra homework, write a paper about this story, and it's just a funny
Yeah.
stupid
Or
story.
find me a story I haven't heard.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. Oh, I could totally do that. I would have so much fun.
That's a
with
good
that.
one.
For me, guys, yeah, history's where it's at. I mean,
It's where it was.
Chances, oh, nice.
Ah.
Chances are, if you don't like history, you probably just taught it in a really sucky way. You probably
yeah.
were taught to just memorize dates and names, and that was the only important factor, and that America was the greatest, and all that jazz. And it's like, it becomes super repetitive. It becomes all about just memorizing things.
And also, none of that is true.
yeah.
Yeah.
America
Or
sucks.
just relevant. Yeah.
The whole point of history is to get a better understanding of how we came to be where we are today. And if you can't grasp and tackle the questions of why I believe what I believe with history, then you're learning history wrong.
Yeah.
So true.
If you never feel bad about history, it's propaganda.
Yeah. I think if
Ooh,
it doesn't
I
make
like
you
that.
uncomfortable,
Yep.
you're learning it wrong.
Yep.
But I saw this TikTok. I'm sure, Tim, I feel like maybe both of you have seen it actually, but it's basically like, it was this girl talking about history, and she was saying like, history's just gossip. Like, it's just drama.
Yeah.
And if you love
I've
that,
seen
like,
that.
it's just drama.
Yeah.
Like, it's so good. And if you just love to talk shit,
It's
like,
it's the hot goss.
yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's so true. I try not to be a little gossiping gal, but I love me a good story.
History brings it out.
It does. It
Yep.
sure does.
So there I was on the Pacific, surrounded by 3 German planes. I swear to God, hand to God, one of them was picking his nose.
Like, people think it's like English, like, storytelling, which, yeah, sure. But it's the gossip.
It's so
the
fun
tea.
too, because it's like there's a history teacher I follow on TikTok, and she does this thing at the beginning of her school year, and where she asks her students to basically, they read one story, but they're all supposed to kind of, oh no, they watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off. They watch a clip from Ferris Bueller's Day Off,
Oh yeah, I saw that one.
and it's just the scene when they're like where they're
The
like
parade.
dancing in the parade and everything. You know what I'm talking about? And
Yeah.
they're supposed to write just a very short snippet of like what they saw. And she'll say whatever you want, as long as you want, whatever like that. And they'll bring it all together, and they'll talk about how like different people will like catch certain things, because some have seen the movie and they know a little bit more context, and some haven't, and so they're paying attention to certain other details. And she talks about how like we all had these different perspectives, these different parts that some people remembered and some that didn't, and
Some people think
knew.
like Cameron and Sloan were together. Some
Right.
people don't know what the parade is about. Some people, like, they see the car and they're like, oh yeah, that's his car. You know?
Yeah, and some people didn't know who the guy in the building was. Maybe they thought he was the villain, but it was just the dad, and like just like these little different details that you wouldn't gather. And like that's history. Is you have these people, these authors who don't always know all the details, who are just writing their perspective on things. And it's just so wild to think about it that way, because it's just like the human memory. It's not foolproof. It's not like a picture where you get all the details. It's fudgy. It's messed up sometimes. But you can gain really big, important human understanding if you understand the language behind the history and what was written and why certain authors wrote the way they did.
Yeah.
Man, I love it.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's so good.
So good. On that note, guys, I think it's time to close this show out, guys. Please leave us a 5-star review on your favorite platform. Please, please, please do that. And if you don't want to leave a happy review, then that's fine. Go have the day you deserve and have a pleasant one. We really genuinely hope that for you.
No, I don't. If you're gonna leave a bad review, I hope you have the day you deserve.
Thank you all again for listening to our podcast, and be sure to subscribe, like, share, and leave a 5-star rating on your favorite podcast platform. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Always More Pod. Chris, where can we find you?
I'm on Instagram as Captain_CT Ford, and TikTok is Christopher.Lionheart.
Harley.
You can find me on Instagram at WhatHarley, WUT Harley, and the clock app at harleybean.co.
And you can find me on pretty much everything at Timothy Lichty, or Tim Lichty. It's Liechty. Thank you all again for listening and for being a part of the conversation. And remember, there is always more than this. Bye, everyone.
Deuces.